Miklasevich, a member of the Central Catholic class of 2015. During his time at Central, Alex was a key member of the rowing team and later committed to Brown University to compete at the collegiate level and is an alumni of the 2019 class. In 2020, he reached the pinnacle of his sport by representing the United States at the Tokyo Olympic Games. We're excited to hear about his journey today. Welcome, Alex.
Thanks, Daniel. It's great to be here, and yeah, really looking forward to the conversation.
Alrighty. First question. How did your time at Central Catholic help shape you as a student, athlete, and person? As you went to quite a rigorous college at Brown, did Central change how you format yourself, etc.?
Yeah, it was a great Central was a very formative time in my life. It was a place where I met a lot of people that were smarter than me, stronger than me on the water and the erg, and it was a place where I was challenged in the classroom. I had a ton of great teachers. I had a lot of really hard math teachers. I'm thinking of Mr. Williamson, really challenged me a lot. Um, and it just really helped me to set a standard for myself moving forward. And coming from a long line of Central alumni, my grandfather went to Central, my older brother. So it was it was a really great place for me to have that springboard going into college.
Yeah, adding on to that, you talked about teachers, math teachers especially, being pretty hard on you. Did you have a favorite teacher by chance that really boosted your motivation in a certain subject or really showed you what the college preparation was like?
That's a good question. It's really hard to narrow it down to a single teacher. I mean, I had Mr. Williamson for math, which was really challenging, and then I went on to the next year of trigonometry with Mr. Roche, and I think
Mhm.
that sort of gave me a little more confidence to realize that I can do this, and
Yeah.
having that strong foundation and then improving on. Um, yeah.
hmm Awesome. So obviously you rowed in the Olympics. So coming into Central, was rowing something you were surrounded by all the time during middle school, etc., or was it something that Coach Hammond kind of talked to you about and tried to introduce you to?
Yeah, I think I was probably like a lot of people in Pittsburgh. I really had no clue what rowing was. I only was introduced to the sport through my older brother Matthew. He was class of 2012 at Central. I had both of us had played kind of every sport, a little bit of soccer, basketball,
hmm
tennis, and didn't really know what my so Matthew didn't really know what he wanted to do, and then sort of found his way into rowing. And then I think I was in sixth grade, maybe. I was at a race for Central, and Jay walked over to me, introduced himself, and asked if I was Matthew's brother, and promptly told me I was going to go to Central. I was going to row when I got there, and I was becoming a national champion. So I was very fortunate to have my brother sort of stumble his way into rowing, and then having a coach like Jay has been incredibly formative and someone who always knew how to push the right buttons to help me progress onto
hmm
higher levels. So I was
Yeah,
very fortunate.
awesome. Awesome. So obviously going through Central 4 years in rowing, you got progressively better. Going to Brown, was it a change around you? Obviously, you're on a wider scale, obviously going to the collegiate level. So was Brown a harder place to adjust to in the rowing aspects?
I think I had a really strong foundation from
Mhm.
the team that I trained with at Central. I had a lot of really good classmates like Michael Grady, who also
Yeah.
rode with me at the Olympics and went on to win in Paris, and
Mhm.
a ton of other guys that really pushed me and showed me how to train hard. I think moving from high school to college, whether it's in the classroom or in whatever sport you're pursuing, or really just anything, it's just the next level up. And you're going to be around people that have been doing it longer, are better than you naturally, worked harder over a long period of time. So I was really challenged. Um, it was somewhere where until probably like the Christmas break of my freshman year that I just was like always sore walking up steps and really tired and taking
Yeah.
naps all the time and just doing the best that I could and then really found my footing. I was fortunate to make the varsity my freshman year and I think it might have been the first Brown oarsman to make the varsity all 4 years. there. So I had a really strong foundation and it helped, but of course it's always going to be a challenge when you take the next step up.
Yeah. So obviously, talking about taking the next step up and being tired at Brown, how was it going to the Olympics? I mean, if you think about it, if you were tired at Brown, was the Olympics an even higher step? Did you have to train longer, stuff like that?
Yeah, so I yes, it was definitely it was a similar adjustment there. So like I was saying, like going from high school to college, you're rowing with people that have been at it just a longer time. I remember getting to the national team and rowing in the lineup, looking around and seeing guys that had been watching at the World Championships when I was at the Junior World Championships in
Mhm.
2013. So
Yeah.
we're like, we're 7 years later. These guys are still at it. And I'm just like almost staring at all of these people. But then I'm also realizing I'm gonna have to beat some of these guys if I want to go. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, it was kind of a surreal moment, but then I had to quickly lock in and think to myself, okay, what are my goals here? I'm not just doing this to have fun, although I did have a lot of fun doing it. I want to, make the team and then do as best as I can.
Yeah. So talking about goals, etc., let's say you have a student athlete here at Central who has some long-term goals, short-term goals. What would you tell him as an aspiring athlete going to the collegiate level and even hopefully the pro level? What would you give to him from an advice standpoint?
Yeah, I think it's really simple. It's easy to overcomplicate these kind of things and look into these long, long horizons. Like I remember Jay had mentioned, oh, maybe Alex or Mike could go to the Olympics, and I didn't really think too much of it, although I was super excited. There was a long gap between where I was in high school to make the Olympics. So my advice would be just break it down to really bite-sized, easy chunks. I remember my teammate Lucas Pilot, he was a year older than me at Central. He had said, I'm going to do more extra workouts than the guy who was in the varsity ahead of him until I'm in the varsity. I'm just going to outwork him until there's no choice but to put me there. So,
Yeah.
um, one I did that at Central, and then one thing I did at Brown was I want to be the fastest freshman, and then once I'm the fastest freshman, I'm going to do more extra workouts before or after practice until I'm like the top guy on the varsity team. And I just kept that mindset of just trying to find the person on my team that I could be better than,
Hmm.
beating them, and then finding like the next pool of people that I can try to beat. So just breaking it down
Yeah.
to those kind of bite-sized chunks that
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you can achieve.
So obviously, talking about after the Olympics, what kind of professional roles did you try and get into after the Olympics? Obviously, being such a high level and then kind of adjusting to normal life as an adult. How was that for you, so to
Yeah.
speak?
Yeah, it's a really interesting change. When I was rowing, I would meet someone new and I would introduce myself as I'm a
Hmm.
rower. My name is Alex. Like it was a big, excuse me, it was a big part of um, my identity and who I was. So transitioning from the Olympics, it was challenging, but um, using kind of that energy I had from the Olympics, I really wanted to go into something that was competitive. I had a similar, kind of you achieved your goal, or you didn't. So I ended up moving into a sales role. So I've been working in sales
Okay.
since 2021, since I
Yeah.
wrapped up in Tokyo, and it's been a great career so far.
Yeah. So obviously, rowing has been a pretty primary factor of your life for so long. And I understand the annual Irish Night concert is coming up. And this is Bruce Foley's last year, really heading the Irish Night in memory of his son, Brendan. So, do you have anything to say, Bruce, for this occasion? And how has Irish Night been special to you at Central?
Yeah, I just want to start by saying thank you, Bruce, for Irish Night. Your dedication and Brendan's memory to the event and to Central Catholic Crew really made my rowing career at Central possible. So I'm incredibly grateful and just really appreciate all the hard work that you've done. Rowing is it's not a sport that everyone knows or is aware of, but it does take a lot of effort, within your team, but then also the people supporting your team. So having the fundraising efforts from Irish Night have been, incredibly important for the team's success over a really, really long period of time.
Mhm. Yeah, so obviously Irish Night rowing as a whole and even Central as a whole has really inspired you? And how has coming full sprint as the 100-year anniversary is coming up for Central? What do you think about the Centennial campaign that's coming up with the $55 million plan, just investing into Central from previous alumni, all coming into now and making Central what it is today?
Yeah, I feel like, similar to um, how rowing takes a team and it takes a lot of effort from a lot of people to make it
Mhm.
successful. I think looking out at the broader Central community is very similar to that. It takes a village to keep a school like Central running and continuing, and the investment that is going into the students is incredible. I'm very jealous of the students that will get to, reap the benefits of that. And I just missed out on the new STEM building. Maybe it's not so new anymore, but it just was finished, I think, 2 years
Mhm.
after I graduated. So I'm definitely
Yeah.
jealous of the students that will be able to have those, those resources at their fingertips.
Mhm. So obviously you talk about having um, a good a good feeling about this new chapter opening up for Central, but what do you hope to come out of this for students? Do you think there is something that will go even higher than when you were there, etc.?
Uh, I mean, I think it's easy to once someone has gone ahead and done something incredible, like maybe going to the Olympics or making the NFL or going to a really great college and becoming a doctor or whatever it has. Um, it's just it opens more doors, like seeing that it's possible. Like someone just like me has gone on to these great lengths and achieved their dreams. Like it makes it feel like it's more possible for
Yeah.
someone who hasn't done that just yet to do that.
Alrighty, so that's all the questions I have. Do you have anything to add on about rowing or promote the sport or anything like that before we end off at Central?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about rowing for hours and I could give a TED talk on it cold. You don't have to ask me anything. I mean, it's an incredible team sport. I think everyone should just give it a try. If you have ever seen it on the Olympics or just down by the river and you think it looks easy, I would challenge you to just hop on an erg and see what you can do for 500 meters. I think you'll be humbled, and it puts into perspective, what anyone that rows is going through on a daily basis. It's just an
Mhm.
incredible sport, and I think I've learned countless life lessons from it. Um, you can work really hard and still not achieve your dream, like you achieve your goals. Like I went to the Olympics and finished fourth, just barely. Um, and that's just a great life lesson in its own of like you can always
Mhm.
work harder. There's always someone out there doing a little more, have a little more
Yeah,
experience, but
yeah.
you got to keep putting your nose to the grindstone and just work hard.
Yeah. And then lastly, just to add on, what do you think about the alumni network coming out of Central? Obviously, there's very prominent guys who go to Central, come out, and are still involved in the Central community. Have you felt that sort of long-lasting community throughout the years you've been out of Central?
Yeah, I mean, the alumni network is great. It's really strong. I think just having that connection to future and past generations of students is incredible and um, is a super valuable thing to have as a student that's graduating from Central.
Alrighty, so that's all the things I have to ask. Join the rowing team for Irish Night in honor of Bruce Foley retiring from this event and honoring his son Brendan. So, I'm Daniel Harris here with Alex Miklasevich. Have a good day.